Okay, well, good afternoon, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jose Vasquez. I'm the field high school representative with Universal Technical Institute. I've been doing presentations to high school students in the Coachella Valley and the Imperial Valley for the past, I want to say 7, 8 years. I'm from the Coachella Valley. Some of you guys have probably seen me on campus, last year or 2 years ago, um, doing either a presentation or visiting the Career Center. And let me just make sure you have everything going on here. So as you guys can see on that screen, I always like to give you guys some feedback on what's happening now that you're a high school senior. I think all of you guys are seniors, so you guys are about to make big plans in life. And I always like to say, it's that time of the year where you guys get to make one of the biggest decisions in your life, and that is, what am I going to do the rest of my life? Uh, I tell my students, the sooner you start, the sooner you start everything, whether if it's college, technical school, your first job, your first career, and you're buying your new house, buying your new car. And when I was a senior in high school, I would like to talk to my friends, my family members about the life that I wanted. Nice house, nice cars, traveling the world, and that's something that all of you are thinking. And what I'm here to give you guys is just information about another program that some of you guys will be doing extremely well by going into a technical school like UTI. So Universal Technical Institute, or most of you guys know it as UTI. We have different campuses throughout the country. So our schools are strategically placed where we know there's job opportunities for our graduates. So I'll give you an example. California, sunny Southern California. If you type it in your phone, what are the two busiest ports in the country? And they're going to be right next to each other, which is the Port of Long Beach and the Port of Los Angeles. Those are two of the busiest shipping ports in the country. And I'm thinking 70, 80% of the stuff that we buy online, it's coming from another country. And they're coming in through the Port of Long Beach and the Port of Los Angeles, which is two of the biggest ports, busiest ports in the country. That's why we have two campuses in Southern California, which is our Rancho Cucamonga campus right by the Ontario airport. And then we have our Long Beach campus. That is a 5-year-old campus. 5 years ago, we opened our Long Beach campus. And then 2 years ago, we opened our New Jersey campus. Now, again, if you keep scrolling down on your phone on the third or fourth busiest ports, it's going to show as the New Jersey port, shipping port. So like I said, UTI, we have our campuses placed where we know there's job opportunities for our graduates. So let's talk a little bit about what do we offer and what are our programs. So if you look on your screen, up on the top of your screen, there's four different schools, which is our Universal Technical Institute, also owns our MMI, which is Motorcycle Mechanics Institute. And that motorcycle mechanics program, it is only offered in Phoenix, Arizona, and Orlando, Florida. And then we have our Marine Mechanics Institute, which is only offered at our Orlando campus. And there's a reason why we have our Marine Mechanics Institute in Florida. Per capita, there's just a lot more boats in Florida, and that year-round weather makes it very attractive for people to buy and, spend money in buying boats. And then the only school in the country that is sponsored and endorsed by NASCAR, it is our NASCAR Technical Institute, which is in Mooresville, North Carolina. I know, NASCAR, it's a lot more popular on the East Coast, but we have that for our students that have a passion for the NASCAR program. Now, within those four schools, we offer 8 different programs, which is our automotive program. NASCAR, like I said earlier, diesel, I've been working with Imperial Valley students for the past, I want to say 6 years in the Imperial Valley. And I always push my students to consider the diesel industrial program, just because the need for trained diesel technicians in Imperial Valley, it's pretty high. There's a need for diesel techs out there because of that farming equipment, right? John Deere, Caterpillar, Queen Cat, which is something that I'm going to talk about later on. And then our collision repair program. It's a great program for students that are into, auto body. That's customs body and paint and estimating class. So it's a great program. Our collision repair program, it is offered in the Long Beach campus and our Houston campus, Houston, Texas. And then our welding, this is a great program for students that want to get in a training or a skilled as a welder. It is a 9-month program. It's all areas of welding with the exception of underwater welding, and it's more on the industrial side of welding, which is there's a lot more job opportunities for in the industrial side of welding. And then we have our CNC machining, which is computer numerical control. So what that means is that we prepare you so you can be certified CNC machinist operator. Some of you are thinking, what is that? Medical equipment has to be precisely cut, or whether if it's electronic devices, engine components, parts, they have to be precisely cut. And what does that? It is the CNC machining program. And then, the popular motorsports industry. That's our Motorcycle Mechanics Institute. And we'll talk more about that program later on. And then our marine mechanics. And what sets UTI apart, it is the relationships that we have with our manufacturer partners. We partner today with 35 of the top manufacturers in the world. So, going back to March, April, when all this pandemic started, UTI unfortunately had to shut its doors like many colleges and universities. But we were able to get approval from the Department of Homeland Security as an essential school. And that's huge for our school. So what that means is that all of our campuses today are open and offering hands-on training for all of our current students at the campuses. So what is that real? They're open, but they're very, we're following strict CDC guidelines. Our student teacher ratio today, it dropped. We used to have our student teacher ratio anywhere between 24 to 28 students per class. Today, because of the pandemic, our student teacher ratio is anywhere between 9 students. Depends on the size of the classroom, can go up to 14 students. So our students today are getting very, very, one-to-one instructor lecture. So, and then, like I said, UTI, we partner with 35 of the top manufacturers in the world. Some of them are exclusive to UTI, which is our Porsche program. Porsche, they're only looking at UTI students to recruit them out of our school so they can put them through their factory training. And we'll talk more about that as what it is that you need to do to be able to get recruited by whether if it's Porsche, BMW, Mercedes, Volvo, Peterbilt for our diesel manufacturers. Now, let's talk about the skills gap in this country because, like I said, there's a need for skilled technicians, trained technicians in this country. UTI was able to get approval as an essential school, which is great news. But what does that really mean to 17, 18-year-old considering a career in the technical schools? What that means is that there is a lot of job opportunities for you guys. You guys are the new generation, right? You guys are probably have better skills in terms of the technology and how to use technology than Jose. And right now there's a lot of people that are retiring. I'm sure you guys probably talked about it or going to talk about it when your social science class about baby boomers. They're retiring. They're leaving the workforce by the thousands, a lot of them. They're getting to 65, 68, 70-year-olds, and they're leaving the workforce. And then the skills gap, because of that, it's just getting wider and wider and wider. And what else is happening in the transportation industry that gives you a lot more job opportunities, and that is technology. Some of your parents, your counselors, teachers, they know that technology is getting better and better in the vehicles today. For example, if you look at this Ford Raptor, it has, I want to say 50 to 60 computers talking to each other, making sure that this vehicle it's making, doing what it's supposed to do. I got three months ago, we were doing what's called a future technicians night, a virtual future technicians night at one of the dealerships. And it was interesting how the service manager at that dealership was talking about vehicles today that have automatic or self-tinting windows, which is it was just very interesting to know that today there's vehicles that will, the windows will tint by themselves. There's cars today that are parallel parking. For those of you who are still trying to figure out how to do it, there's cars today that will, you're on the freeway, you hit that advanced steering assist, car will steer on its own on the freeway. Take over and apply the brakes if something gets in front of that vehicle. So the amount of technology that cars have today, it's pretty, there's just a lot of computers in a vehicle today. Next year, 2021, talking about Ford, those of you who are in the transportation industry and you want this to be a future career for you, you know that Ford Mustangs, next year, they're gonna be fully electric. You look up, Ford Mustang or Mach-E for next year, 2021, they're gonna be fully electric and they're gonna be fast cars, but not that I'm getting paid by Ford to give you guys this infomercial, but it's just so you guys know the type of technology that's out there. So let me play this video and then we're gonna start talking a little bit more about UTI.
Innovations in the automotive industry have quickly transformed what it means to be a technician in this industry. As the cars, trucks, and motorcycles on our streets have become more computerized, so too has the job of maintaining and fixing these vehicles. A trade once largely mechanical is today primarily technical, and therefore requires workers to be skilled computer users also. Other changes too are propelling the shift. In-car info entertainment also must be repaired by someone with electronic and computer-based skills.
When you look at technicians today as compared to an automotive mechanic of yesterday, cars are operating more like computers, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down. You see commercials with hands-free steering, automatic lane assist. So it's very important that as the industry progresses, that the education progresses along with that. So schools partnering up with STEM curriculums. It's more of an IT role now than it was yesterday.
Computers on vehicles are controlling everything, from braking, engine management, fuel consumption, and lane change controls to hybrid, electric, and self-driving cars.
The technicians of today, they're diagnostic specialists. Most of our repairs are being done electronically, downloaded via satellite. We're uploading information to the manufacturers all over the world. Yesteryear, it was pieces and parts. You were simply bolting things on, hoping they fix the car. Anymore, the cars are not that way. Cars are, they're a giant computer system. Most vehicles have more computer power than the entire Apollo missions had. So we really need the highest quality technician we can find coming out of a school that specifically trains them how to diagnose today's current vehicles.
Universal Technical Institute's state-of-the-industry campuses train students to troubleshoot problems of all kinds using engine analyzers, handheld scanners, and other computerized diagnostic equipment. With the help of our relationships with manufacturers of more than 35 leading brands, our students have the opportunity to train with new types of technology. Technician training is great for students who excel in STEM classes, are tech-savvy, or who enjoy using their head and their hands. Some programs can be completed in less than a year, not 4, so you have the opportunity to be ready to start your career sooner.
A lot of the stuff is computerized nowadays, so it's no longer the days like, oh, let me listen to what that sound is. You can still do that, but nowadays a lot of it computerized. They have the technology that changes is amazing.
All right, so again, we're gonna go in and talk more in detail about the programs that we have at UTI. So let's start with our automotive program. That is a 51-week training. Our school, it is not a 4-year college. It is not a community college. We are a technical school. So what that means is that all of our classes at our school are hands-on, and then also you're taking specific to your program. So what that means is that you're going to be taking straight automotive classes. You're not taking any general educational classes, and that's something that a lot of our students, decide to attend at our one of our campuses. That our students they don't have to take general educational classes because it is a technical school. For you to be able to submit an application at UTI, I'll tell you at the end what steps you need to do, but the requirement is it's your high school diploma. We don't, look at your grades, your SAT, ACT test scores to determine whether you're accepted into our program or not. But you do have to have your high school diploma just because it is a technical school, and our students, some of our students that did well at high school level, they're one of our top students at UTI. And when I meet with you and your parents to go over the school program costs, what's going to happen is that there's a couple things that I will expect from you is for you to be able to keep your application active at UTI. So let's talk about our automotive program. It is a 51-week training. That's a year long. In that year, if you do very well at UTI, you have the GPA that BMW, Mercedes, Porsche, or Volvo requires you to have to get into their training, as well as attendance. So we're very strict on attendance. We have students that, they focus on keeping their attendance at 100%, because that will determine also they can get into the BMW, the Mercedes-Benz program. What they're looking for is attendance, good attendance. The GPA at UTI has to be at least minimum a 3.7 GPA or higher, not your high school GPA. It will be your UTI overall GPA. So if you have those requirements, then about 2 months, 3 months before you complete the training, that's when you're going to be exposed to our MSATs. MSAT stands for Manufacturer Specific Advanced Training. So let's say you as a student apply for the BMW program, and then they evaluate your application. If they accept you in their program, that means BMW will pay for you to get factory trained by the manufacturer. Pending you complete the program, then they will send you to work wherever they need a BMW technician. That's why students from all over the country go to UTI, because they know that if they do very well at UTI, they can start their career working for a high-end manufacturer, whether if it's BMW, Mercedes, Porsche, and Volvo. Now, the ones you see with black letters, Ford, Toyota, GM, and Mopar, and Nissan, students have the option of paying for that credentials from the manufacturer. So let's say you go into automotive and you want to add the Ford FAC program, then you will graduate from UTI with 11 Ford factory credentials. That program, I always encourage my students to add the Ford or the GM, because government employees, state employees, county employees, a lot of them, they have a company vehicle or a state vehicle. And that will open a lot more doors for you to go as a technician in the federal government, the county, the state, local agencies. They have, a lot of vehicles that need to be serviced every week, every month. Our diesel program, it's a 10-month program. Okay, that's 45 weeks. And it comes with transport refrigeration, which is the containers that need to be refrigerated, whether they're carrying frozen food or produce, right? So it comes with that training for you to be able to service and do proper diagnosis on transport refrigeration systems, as well as hydraulics. So hydraulic systems, industrial equipment, construction equipment, farming equipment has a diesel engine. What makes it unique, it's that hydraulic system that has built into that machine. So like I said, I push my students into the diesel program just because the demand, it's out there. They need, country needs diesel technicians. And then we partner with Cummins, Daimler Trucks, which is the Freightliner program, and Peterbilt, that is a manufacturer paid. So you have to get accepted into Peterbilt for you to be able to get a factory trained by Peterbilt. And it happens, very fast. I know there's different students from different high schools today listening to this presentation, but there's a student from Calexico High School. He's 19-year-old, just graduated from high school last year, and he's on his way to Texas. And if you know who this guy is, you know what I'm talking about. Mom is very proud of him, his son, 19-year-old, saying, "Hey, Jose, thank you." I remember her calling me and saying, "Jose, thank you. I just can't believe that my son is now leaving Rancho Cucamonga and he's going off to Houston, Texas, because he got recruited by Peterbilt." And sure enough, a couple days after that he got accepted into that program, I started getting calls from his buddies saying, "Hey, I want to go to UTI. I got my friend that this is what he's doing." So it happens really fast, and these guys, some of these guys, it's harder for them to leave because now they're 19 or 20-year-old, graduated about a year or a year and a half from high school. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to leave the Imperial Valley. That's why, I'm here to tell you, just like your counselor, Denise, right, your parents, you got to do something fresh out of high school. So now let's talk about our NASCAR program. That is in Mooresville, North Carolina, and that is all area. Our NASCAR program, it's sponsored and endorsed by NASCAR. So what do we teach you there? It's how to build a car, from chassis fabrication to dropping the engine, transmission, electrical, and then building the body of the vehicle, which is the aerodynamics of a NASCAR. It's a great program. Then we go into collision repair, which is 51 weeks. And like I said, this program is offered in the Long Beach campus and our Houston, Texas campus. So now let's go into welding, which is all areas of welding with the exception of underwater welding. So it's a 9-month training, and it comes with pipe welding as well. So if you're a welder and you know how to weld pipes, you will be having a lot of job opportunities out in the welding industry. CNC machining, we talked about it. It's 9 months. And then our motorcycle mechanics program, we partner with BMW, Harley, Honda, Kawasaki, Suzuki, and Yamaha. Within those 42-week program, you can choose from 3 manufacturer credentials out of the ones that you see on your screen. And then our marine mechanics program, like I said, it is offered in Florida. We talked about, the relationships that we have with our manufacturer partners. All the equipment, vehicles, technology you see on our campuses, it is supplied by manufacturers. So yes, you're working on the greatest technology that's out there in the transportation industry. So let me talk about how you're taking classes at UTI. So it's a 3-week class. So it's not like your 4-year university or community college where you get to pick and choose what classes you're going to take. Here, we will give you the first class. That class, it's 3 weeks. And then from there, you move on to the next class. So each class will prepare you for the next advanced class. I'll tell you, your first class at UTI, it will be either transmissions or engines. So whichever it is first, let's say you start taking an engines class. So what's going to happen there is that you will disassemble the block of an engine, the block itself, not all the accessories that are connected to the engine. You will disassemble it, learn the parts, what they do, where they go, the purpose of each part, and you're going to put it back together. So it is the first class at UTI, whether if it's transmissions or engines for automotive or diesel. Same with motorcycle mechanics as well as marine. So that's that. Your last 3 classes at UTI and the automotive training, it is with a curriculum from Raj Jates. I'll show you a video, and then that way you guys can see what our last 3 classes in the automotive industry is.
Some of us drive them. Some of us race them. Some of us just admire them. But we all have some sort of relationship with them. With more than 250 million vehicles on U.S. roads, the need for trained auto technicians is huge. In fact, there are expected to be more than 1.1 million job openings for technicians by 2028. And with the technology advancing so quickly, the demand for tech-savvy technicians will too. To prepare for a career that requires you to use your head and your hands, you need to train in state-of-the-industry labs with late-model diagnostic and repair equipment, learning from instructors with real-world experience and a reputation for excellence. UTI has relationships with manufacturers of more than 35 leading brands, giving students the option to take additional training programs with Ford, Mercedes-Benz, Toyota, BMW, Mopar, GM, and others, which can improve opportunities for graduates. Our instructors and students are real enthusiasts, which makes school feel like, well, not school, but more like a day at the track or in the shop. In our Power and Performance course, which is included in our Automotive Technology program, we go old school and revisit the days of hot rodding, then work our way to the modern, street-legal performance cars of today. We tune engines, change heads, and modify cams. We train with superchargers and even nitrous. Then we go high-tech with engine remapping and chipping. But we don't stop there. We put those engines on the dyno and push them, learning how to maximize output. And for those who want to go from the road to the racetrack, our NASCAR Technician Training Program is the only one endorsed and sponsored by NASCAR.
Even their core curriculum helped me immensely with all the measuring tools, just getting familiar with more stuff, getting experience, honestly. You're actually working on these engines that have been raced before, and then you get to put them on the dyno, so it's helped me. I feel like I'm ahead.
UTI's Auto Technician program is a great option for students who have a passion for solving problems and a knack for using technology. For students who prefer blacktop to blackboards and like to have fun while preparing for a career that's in demand. Employers rely on UTI to train technicians who possess the professional and technical skills to make a difference from day one.
You can make a good amount of money as a technician. Don't let people tell you that you're not going to make any money, because you can. You put the work in and you get paid a livable wage.
All right, so let's talk about how our campuses are doing. So within the 12 campuses, 4 to 5 students, land a job or find a career in their field of study. So I always like to put this percentage into students so they can have an idea of what is the graduate employment, the percentage. So if you put 4 to 5 into a percentage, that's about 80%. Last year we had counselors, administrators at in California, throughout Northern California and Southern California, that they wanted to see our outcomes in the California campuses, because the 80% job placement rate, that is our national average. So we did get a lot of feedback from administrators and counselors. They wanted to see our outcomes at the California campuses. And UTI, we have a report that was generated for all 3 California campuses: our Sacramento campus, our Long Beach campus, and our Rancho Cucamonga campus. And we were proud to say that our California campuses were actually higher than the national average. We have that report. If you guys want to, you can request it, send me an email. We have teachers here. We can definitely send you that report. And it's at 85.6% our employment rate, which is great. Our students are graduating and they're getting hired in their field of study. So that's that. Let me play a quick video of what we do to help our students find their career. So we do have support from local employers, national employers, and today it's all virtual. But before this pandemic, we have career fairs, but not where representatives go to our campuses and show them the options after UTI. But it was actually local employers, national employers that will physically go to all of our campuses and offer a lot of on the spot, they're getting hired on the spot based on, their resume and what they did at UTI. So let me just show you this, and then we're going to start wrapping it up.
Some of us drive them. Some of us race them. Some of us just admire them. But we all have some sort of relationship with them. With more than 250 million vehicles on U.S. roads, the need for trained auto technicians is huge. In fact, there are expected to be more than 1.1 million job openings for technicians by 2028. And with the technology advancing so quickly, the demand for tech-savvy technicians will too. To prepare for a career that requires you to use your head and your hands, you need to train in state-of-the-industry labs with late-model diagnostic and repair equipment, learning from instructors with real-world experience and a reputation for excellence. UTI has relationships with manufacturers of more than 35 leading brands, giving students the option to take additional training programs with Ford, Mercedes-Benz, Toyota, BMW, Mopar, GM, and others, which can improve opportunities for graduates. Our instructors and students are real enthusiasts, which makes school feel like, well, not school, but more like a day at the track or in the shop. In our Power and Performance course, which is included in our Automotive Technology program, we go old school and revisit the days of hot rodding, then work our way to the modern, street-legal performance cars of today. We tune engines, change heads, and modify cams. We train with superchargers and even nitrous. Then we go high-tech with engine remapping and chipping. But we don't stop there. We put those engines on the dyno and push them, learning how to maximize output. And for those who want to go from the road to the racetrack, our NASCAR Technician Training Program is the only one endorsed and sponsored by NASCAR.
Even their core curriculum helped me immensely with all the measuring tools, just getting familiar with more stuff, getting experience, honestly. You're actually working on these engines that have been raced before, and then you get to put them on the dyno, so it's helped me. I feel like I'm ahead.
UTI's Auto Technician program is a great option for students who have a passion for solving problems and a knack for using technology. For students who prefer blacktop to blackboards and like to have fun while preparing for a career that's in demand. Employers rely on UTI to train technicians who possess the professional and technical skills to make a difference from day one.
You can make a good amount of money as a technician. Don't let people tell you that you're not going to make any money, because you can. You put the work in and you get paid a livable wage.
So, all right, so we're going to skip that employer testimonial. Gave you guys the wrong video, but let's talk about a little bit our campuses. So our Avondale campus. So in the Imperial Valley, most of my students, the majority of my students, they go to Avondale, which is the housing there. It's very, it's a lot better than California housing, but we do offer housing in all of our campuses. In Avondale, we have, it's a huge campus. Every time I go there, the few times I'm there, sometimes I get lost just being in the campus. We have our BMW training at the Avondale campus, Cummins engines, as well as Cummins power generator program, the Ford FAC training, Daimler trucks, which is the Freightliner program, our GM training, as well as Volvo. In there, we also have obviously the auto, the diesel, and the welding program. So that's our Avondale campus. Our Long Beach campus, we have our Nissan, welding, auto, diesel, and the collision repair program. Right, you know, in Long Beach, we also have our Mercedes-Benz training program, which is at the Long Beach campus. We have other locations, but in California, it is in the city of Long Beach. Rancho Cucamonga, which is the closest campus from where you guys are today. It's right by the Ontario airport. I want to say it's about a 2-hour, about closer to 3-hour drive from the Imperial Valley. And then we have the Ford training there, Peterbilt, auto, diesel, welding. We are scheduled to open our Toyota training program at Rancho Cucamonga by the summer of 2021. Off-site training facilities by around Rancho Cucamonga, we have BMW in the city of Ontario. Then we have our Porsche training program in the city of Eastville, California, which is about 10 miles away from our Rancho Cucamonga campus. And that is a brand new training facility from Porsche. They opened that training about 2 years ago. The other two training programs that we have it's in Pennsylvania and Georgia for Porsche. So now we have one here in California. So like I said, we do offer housing in all of our campuses. We also have financial aid for students that qualify. And you've probably been hearing it from a lot of college representatives that October 1st is when all of you can start applying for the financial aid, which is FAFSA application. We also have, we're also a Cal Grant eligible school. So what that means is that I know for four universities, the Cal Grant eligibility, it's a lot higher than for technical schools. So we're proud to say that UTI, we are a Cal Grant eligible school if you decide to stay in California. Tuition, if you decide to go to another campus outside of California, out-of-state tuition, it's not going to be higher. So whatever the tuition is here in California, it is the same for all of our campuses. So there's no out-of-state tuition at UTI. So one thing that also I like to talk about when I'm doing a presentation is the relationships that we have with employers. Right now, we have over 4,500 employers that are under our TRIP agreement. TRIP stands for Tuition Reinvestment Incentive Programs. If you know someone that just recently got graduated from UTI, they were either working, they went back to the Imperial Valley, they're either working at RDO Equipment Rentals right by the Imperial Airport or Brawley Airport, and then as well as Queen Cat. They're on our TRIP program. So they offer, what that means is they will offer some type of a tuition reimbursement package to students graduating from UTI. You know, when there's 4,500 employers asking for technicians in this country, and let me tell you, there's competition. We have some companies like out of the San Diego area or Orange County area, Penske Automotive, their tuition reimbursement package it's now at $25,000. So, and that tells you as a future student at UTI that they're investing in you. They're helping you pay your investment that you did by attending UTI. So we have other great employers that are offering very attractive tuition reimbursement package. Scholarships. We have plenty of scholarships for our students, and the representative, I am going to be the one helping you apply for different scholarships as we're getting scholarships, whether it's from Shell, WD-40, AutoZone. Mike Grohl, the guy that goes on TV talking about dirty jobs, he's out there, he has a foundation, and he's offering scholarships to students pursuing a training at a technical school like UTI. So bottom line, for those of you who are considering a career in this industry, our programs, it's less than 2 years and it is hands-on. So a lot of our students, that's what they like about pursuing a training at UTI. That's hands-on and it's career specific. So they're looking for, they're taking classes related to their field of study. So what I'm gonna do, I know most of you guys took attendance at the beginning by scanning the QR code. So the Imperial County Office of Education has an attendance for you, but I will also want to take attendance from all of you, and I'll explain what it is that you need to do to say, Jose, you know what, thank you for the information, great stuff, but I am not interested. I just wanted information. There's a section for you guys. That way we will not email you or call you. This is basically me telling my boss, hey, I did a presentation at this particular area. So, but for those of you who are interested at UTI and you want to submit an application, this is what you guys need to do. I want you to go home, later today, when your parents get back from work, and talk to them about what happened today. If your parents are there with you, make sure you sit down and talk about what's going to happen now, which is you're going to call me, Jose. I just finished talking to my parents, and we would like to schedule an appointment. And the appointment, it will be a virtual appointment through Zoom. And I will send you the link so we can have an appointment with you and your parents and just go over the school, financial aid, scholarships, and tell you what it is that you need to do for you to be able to submit an application at UTI. So that will be for those of you who want to pursue or want to apply at our school. This is what I'm going to email you as soon as you complete the survey form, which is a booklets talking about different cost of living, career self-exploration. But this is the 8 pathways to start your new career. This is a great electronic booklet for you to share with your parents. It has virtual tours. It has different programs, testimonials. It's a great interactive booklet for you to, spend time showing it to your parents. So after we're done completing the survey form, then I'm gonna open it up to, questions in regards to anything that you guys wanna talk about UTI. So let me pull my QR code. That way you guys can complete this survey form. And let me just make sure it's here. Here it is. Are you guys, well, it's hard, but can someone put down if you guys are seeing my QR code on your screen? I know it's hard. Let me see here. Show video panel. Yes, thank you, Todd. Perfect. So you guys can scan your QR code with your camera phone, and it's going to ask you for pretty simple, information from you guys, which is your first name, your last name, your date of birth, your phone number, your zip code, high school name, and then the UTI high school ID. Just leave it blank. Don't put anything. I think there's a box for you to say, I don't know the high school ID. So if you guys don't have a phone with you right now or a camera on your phone, there's the my URL, which is my personal website for you guys to fill out this information, is right below where it says scan above or visit jvasquez.uticentral.com. So as soon as you guys do this, you will get an automated email with the information that I shared with you. Any questions? My phone number is there. My email is there as well. Once you scan the QR code, there's an option for you to save my contact on your phone. You just have to click save contact, and it will automatically save your contact on your phone. And then on my interest level, there's a 1 to 5. 1, you're saying, Jose, thank you for the information. Here's what you asked for. I have other plans. I just wanted to see the UTI presentation. That's on my interest level 1. And my interest level 2 or 3, you just want emails sent to you. 4s and 5s, those are the students that are considering UTI. So if you put down a 4 or a 5 on my interest level, make sure you guys have a conversation with your parents, and then call me so we can schedule an appointment. And that will be the first step for you to be able to submit your application at UTI. So for those, once you guys are submitting the form, the survey form, I'm gonna start getting emails from you that you submitted the QR form. So I am getting I know we have about 26, but we have here. So if you guys have not done the QR code, if you guys can finish it up in a couple of minutes, then we are going to open it for any questions that you guys have about our programs.
Hey, Jose, if I could chime in right now, this is Todd Evangelos, and I'm with the Imperial County Office of Education. And we thank all the students and families and others who are tuned into this webinar, Zoom webinar that we're having with Higher Ed Week. We're at the 3, or I guess, let me take that back. We're at the 2 o'clock hour, where you have been tuned into the UTI presentation. So Jose Vasquez is in the middle of that. So you may have used that QR code from the County Office of Education. Great. But this would be something you would do very specific to Jose. So do that right now if you don't mind. By the way, all we do with those other QR codes is simply kind of pass them along to each of the representatives so that they can make contact with you guys. So they'll be doing that, but this would be a really direct way to do that. So I guess Jose, if I understood you, we want everybody to fill that out. And if you're just interested in saying, hey, thanks, I was here, that'd be a 1. But if you have a little bit more interest, you could just kind of slide that on the scale to 2, 3, 4, 5 or so. Correct. So Jose, by the way, people have been interacting a little bit with a Q question and answer. So feel free to do that. You can certainly have a follow-up conversation, an email and phone call with Jose because he has all that contact information. But if you're here and you want to know a quick answer, now would be a great time to ask. We have a Q&A code or a little question and answer tab at the bottom of the Zoom window. Feel free to click on that right now as I'm speaking. And you can also ask your question live. What I'll do, I'll kind of moderate it, and then I'll throw those questions to Jose. And Jose, in a bit, I have a couple questions that some students had submitted earlier that I'll ask you as well. So I'll turn it right back to you, though.
Perfect. All right. Well, yeah, I see a couple of them, emails that are coming through. They're saying that you guys submitted that QR survey form. Just want to, we're going to open up for questions from all of you that are on the Zoom presentation. But thank you, all of you, for being on this presentation. If you guys have any questions, we're going to start taking questions right now. If not, I think we're going to wait for the next presentation.
Yeah, well, that'll come up at 3 o'clock. So if you actually happen to have tuned in for the 3 o'clock session, you're great. You're ahead of schedule. So which is even perfect. So we'll start that. I think that is Cal State San Bernardino, which starts at 3 o'clock. So sit tight. We have a couple more question and answers for Universal Technical Institute led by Jose Vasquez. Jose, a couple of questions that came in earlier, just to let you know. One was, hey, I'm interested in being an automotive engineer. Would UTI be a place that I would go to school?
So automotive engineer, the answer is no, because our programs is for students that want to go in and be an automotive technician. So we prepare them so they can have what's called automotive service of excellence. So they're able to get hired at a dealership, at a private company, industrial company that requires those students to be able to service and repair from automobiles to industrial equipment, construction equipment, or welding. So the answer is it's no. You will probably need to go and look at a different school that offers automotive engineer, but you want to elaborate a little bit more on the person that asked that question to see is like, what is it that you see yourself doing as an automotive engineer? If it's like designing cars, then it will be probably more into a different college or a traditional 4-year university.
All right, sounds good. I'm just typing a little answer to one of them. They were on that QR code and they said, hey, I just want to kind of leave the high school ID part blank, but we could just let them leave that blank on your QR code. Real quick, you mentioned in your presentation, and some students maybe kind of arrived late, so they may not have seen everything, but in your presentation, you had some kind of a section on financial aid and scholarships and all those things. So there could be some potential questions about specifically like how much does this program cost, which is 51 weeks, versus that program, which is 36 weeks. Would all that information be on your website, or would that be in a conversation with you?
And it is on our website. It's called Under Financial Aid. They will click on Tuition Estimator, and it will give them a breakdown of what program they're looking for, because they can add automotive and General Motors, automotive and Ford Fact Training. So it will be on our website, but certainly when we have a one-on-one, parent meeting, then we will cover specific program tuition. But our tuition, it ranges anywhere between 20,000 can go up to about 49,000. Depends on the program that they want to do. But like I said, we do offer financial aid for students that qualify.
Good. And well, I was going to follow up with that. So you did mention a section on financial aid. So if a student wants to fill out their FAFSA or their financial aid application, that actually, by the way, for students who are tuning in, that the opening window of that starts this Thursday, October 1st, is the first day that you can begin to apply for financial aid for the following year, the year 2020-21. And so that would apply. Going to school at UTI, you would be able to receive financial aid to go to school there. That would presumably help you with tuition and living expenses. Speaking of living expenses, you mentioned housing. And so there's not a UTI institution here in Imperial County. So presumably, if I'm a high school senior and I'm going to go to Avondale, which is, if I remember where Avondale at, that's kind of like on the west side of Phoenix. So I just get on the freeway and go kind of east to Arizona to Phoenix, and that's where that city would be. So if I wouldn't be able to commute there every day. So would I call the school? Is there dorm housing? Is there apartment complexes around? What would the process be to find a housing for myself?
So what's gonna happen once a student submits an application with UTI, I'm gonna be basically their point of contact. Students will, call me for any scholarships, call me for any questions in regards to housing, but everything, our housing office, it is at the campus. Students will apply for housing around March. So they can, and everything's online on the day of our registration. That's when they go with their parents. And it's a great event because, that's the first time that students are moving away from home and they're getting situated at one of our apartments. But I will be the representative that will be helping them and the parents. So if the parents have any questions, they can call me saying, Jose, we have a question in regards to housing. If I don't have the answer, I would immediately call our housing director for that specific campus so they can talk to them. But yeah, it will be all, I'm gonna be the one helping the students apply for the housing.
Gotcha. And Jose, you put up a map at one point about all the different, did I hear you say that you have 12 different locations? Is that nationwide or just out here in this area?
So we have, let me, just gonna backtrack a little bit.
Into your slide deck.
So we have 12 campuses throughout the country.
Okay.
Southern California, we have the Long Beach campus and Rancho Cucamonga campus. And then we have our Avondale campus.
So those would be essentially the three closest campuses to this area.
Correct. And then, we have other campuses throughout. These are the three closest campuses from the Imperial Valley.
And then you have something, I think I remember hearing you mention something about something in Florida for like a marine,
right. So
engines
correct. Our marine program, our Marine Mechanics Institute, that is only offered in Florida. And then our motorcycle mechanics training, it is offered in Phoenix, Arizona, and Florida. And then our NASCAR Technical Institute, it is only offered in Mooresville, North Carolina.
All right. So a lot of those details about the specific location or the school and the campus that a particular student would be interested in, those would be a lot of the details that they would probably them and their family or would go over in details with you at another time. So you have your QR code up there. And so what happens if a student fills out that QR code, they give you that information. If they're interested in hearing from you, they might go 2, 3, 4, or 5 level of interest. And then that would just let you know that, hey, give me a call and we could talk more about it.
Correct.
So good.
So I have students, I already have students coming in and submitting their QR form.
Oh,
so,
perfect.
I have students that put in a 1 saying, hey, thank you for the information. And I have students that are put down a 5. So the ones that are put down a 4s and 5 on the interest level, I do recommend for you and your parents to have a conversation about our programs and then give me a call. When you call me is for us to set up an appointment with you and your parents through virtual Zoom and go over more in detail about our programs, locations, housing, financial aid, scholarships. That way parents know exactly the program, the location, and are on board with you pursuing a career in the transportation industry.
Perfect. And one last quick question about requirements to apply to your school. So if I'm interested in your school and I want to go talk to my parents tonight, I could find out more information to show with them. I think it's at the website is uti.edu. Is that the
Yes.
webpage? Okay.
The uti.edu, correct.
And so I could go there to show them information that presumably you talked about today. But just real quick, what are the requirements? If I'm interested in your school, what would be the requirements? Do I have to get good grades? Do I have to take an SAT? What are the requirements to get into UTI?
High school diploma. All we need is the high school diploma to start at UTI. Yes.
All right, sounds good. Here's what I'm going to do, Jose. I'll look over at the question and answers that students may have typed in right now. So if they have, feel free to do that right now. Otherwise, if you have any kind of ending questions, kind of something in summary comments to think about, feel free to kind of put that together and kind of let us know any summary thoughts, any final thoughts, and then I'll turn it over to my colleague at the Imperial County Office of Education, Denise Kevany, who's the director of our higher ed department here in Imperial County. So thanks, Jose, and I'll be looking for some more questions.
Perfect. Thank you, Tom. Denise, thank you.
Absolutely, Jose. We always enjoy having you at Higher Ed Week and providing students with this option. You know, we have a lot of students, like you said, with regards to agricultural and the type of mechanics that we need here locally as well. That's definitely an industry that is here in the Imperial County for those students who might be interested and might want to, you know, work here in Imperial County. So we always appreciate your presence and the great information that you provide to our students. So hopefully Higher Ed Week 2 will be able to do a little more traditionally, but for now, this was great. We really appreciate you.
Cool.
So
Well, thank you for inviting us every year.
absolutely.
Appreciate it.